Okay, can you guys hear us now? I think we might be having audio issues. Can someone leave a comment on the live and let us know? Let's see. Can you hear? Let's double check. Okay, we're good. Okay. Hello, welcome. It is a little bit of a late night.
It's way past my bedtime.
It's past your bedtime. We are...
Wait, it's 9:03
p.m.
local Pacific Standard Time.
Yes, RIP to the East Coast.
RIP to the East Coast.
Today we are talking about Oregon versus Washington taxes.
Hot topic. Hot.
Hot topic. Like H-A-U-T-E.
I would say
Haute couture.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I would just say H-A-W-T. Hot.
Oh, okay.
Hot. Not like hot.
That's like a very early 2000s text slang.
With that suggestion you got as far as equality, what are we doing here?
I can't control it on this.
You can't?
No.
Oh boy.
So we are drinking spice cider, first of the season from Trader Joe's. They have the best spice cider. You gotta drink it warm.
We're on a mission to be as disgustingly Northwest as possible. So she said, I want to wear my flannel.
Yeah.
You know, wear my little hunting shirt. We got our apple cider. It's middle of October.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice and chilly outside. It's raining. We're
so refreshing. I could go stand out in the rain. And it's not the Pacific Northwest mist that we normally have going on. This is like real rain, which is great. So if you're joining us, let us know what temperature it is where you are, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay.
And if you like apple cider vinegar.
Are you drinking vinegar?
I mean, well, shoot. I do drink apple cider vinegar, but I'm drinking apple cider.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. So apple cider vinegar is just an extract from this?
I don't know how they make it into vinegar, which is, vinegar is like fermented, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, dude.
Come on.
You've gone past my knowledge base.
I know one tastes a lot better than the other. I'll tell you that much.
There was something else I was going to say. Oh, so I'm going to start doing more. If you want to know more about what's going on in the real estate market, to see behind the scenes, see pictures that I don't post on my feed, I don't post them on Facebook, I just share them in my Instagram stories. Make sure to go follow me over on Instagram at Hal Byrd _ if you kind of want to see some other behind the scenes things. I will update you that today wrote an offer for some clients that are moving up here from Orange County. They got a short-term rental up here, and we submitted an offer tonight, so we are crossing our fingers. But I feel really good about it. Super strong.
Great folks, too.
Yeah,
Great
love
folks.
them.
Yeah.
And what else? So if you want to know about like the real estate goings on, that's where I would do that. Okay, this is going to be a shorty because we are going to kick back soon. Why are you looking at me like that?
No reason.
Okay.
I'm just in a good vibe right now.
You're in a good place. You guys should have heard the music he was playing before we got on.
Hashtag ratchet, baby.
Not safe for YouTube.
But of course, we have to protect your brand. Is that how you say it?
Well, we almost played a hip hop. What do you call this? Like live music? Not live music. What do you call it?
Oh,
stream feed.
something.
Spotify stream.
Yeah. Ad free or something.
And the first song was okay, but the second song played, and it was all sorts of inappropriate words that I'm sure YouTube would not approve of.
Shout out to Julian out of watching from Phoenix, 59 right now.
Oh, that's balmy.
That's balmy.
It is 49 degrees here, so we're not that much colder, but you're in a desert, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's cold in them deserts, man.
100% chance of rain tonight.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks, Sergi. All right, let's go.
Okay, so today we're talking about Oregon versus Washington taxes because I still get a lot of questions about this.
Out of your, say, top 5 most frequently asked questions, where do taxes rank? Taxes / expenses.
Top 3.
Okay.
Darcy says, hi guys, watching in San Diego, 57 degrees.
San Diego, though.
It's not all that different, though.
It isn't.
We're only 10 degrees colder.
When we lived in SoCal and in Temecula, we were about an hour and a half from San Diego. So we used to drive to San Diego to escape the heat in Temecula. I remember one day, Saturday, it was We left the house, it was like 107 degrees on the car. By the time we drove an hour to San Diego, it was 77.
Yeah, it was a huge difference.
And we always comment on how like San Diego might have the best weather in the world. But if you like some mix and some seasons,
Yeah.
I personally have come to like this better because it doesn't get super extreme. It's not hot. It's not cold, but you get those seasonality. But
Yeah.
you're doing good in San Diego.
Yeah, no complaints.
I can't front on you there. Thanks for checking in with us, guys. We really appreciate the engagement and feedback.
Yeah, it's funny. It's always funny when you're going live because you're just talking to a laptop. So even when I'm trying to look in the lens right now, it's interesting to do. So our eyes wander a lot.
I thought that was just your wandering eye. That's not true.
No.
Okay.
I did notice on this live stream that I think it's this eye. One of these eyes is smaller than the other. Is one eye bigger than the other?
I didn't know that before I married you.
You could get the refund, you know.
Phew. Man. So, but more recently, going back to why we're here, you had someone reach out to you specifically and ask a question. Did you want to kind of?
So, I guess to preface this, so we're going to share the questions first. Let's share a screen. Let's get right into this. We love Trader Joe's, 85, and Semi-Sunny. I think Julian's laughing that I said we get the refund. Guys, we have fun. We truly.
You gotta have fun in this day and age. If you don't find a way to
beforehand.
laugh and not take things too seriously, I don't
Yeah.
know how you do it.
I need to change this output to. Oh, okay. Hopefully this is the right one. Okay, good.
There we go.
You guys would have seen some some interesting things if that's the case. Okay, so Jarrett loves Benjamin Franklin. So do you want to share one of the most well-known quotes from him?
Yeah, and just being in business for half my life, I've I've learned some staples, right, of business and kind of what wealthy people do and try to mimic them. One of them is always lowering and minimizing taxes. Benjamin Franklin famously said there's two things basically certain in life: death and taxes. And this was 200 years ago. And lo and behold, in 2021, between inflation, between trying to stretch our dollars, taxes still has to be one of your big considerations. It was one of the reasons Hal and I moved here and kind of sought out a place that would give us a little bit of a break. Love California, but you definitely pay that sunshine tax. And
sure.
it was getting tiresome for us. So.
Yeah, and I also want to comment because someone had posted a comment on the channel that was like, oh, she must make way more money than me because how could your taxes be your number one expense compared to rent? And they gave an example of $1,500 for rent compared to what your taxes might be. But typically, if your rent is $1,500, you're probably making at least $4,500 a month to be like conforming within whatever financial advisors and any like apartment complex would have you be paying. Obviously, we know that the reality is that some people are overextended, so putting that aside for the time being, your taxes, when you add in income tax from the federal level, from the state level, local level, property taxes, sales tax, the taxes you pay on gas, taxes you pay when you die, like throughout your life, your taxes are going to be the biggest single expense that you have, even more than housing.
Far and away. And I think the sad part is that a lot of people don't think that, but when you look at things in totality, far and away, it's your biggest expense. And it's such a big deal to us. I mean, in one of our other businesses where we kind of coach and help people, we're real big advocates in learning how to minimize your taxes.
Did you pre-prepare that?
No, I keep it on the coffee table and reference it all the time. So for us, like we feel like each person who's on this video or on this live or watches this video, we all have a fiduciary responsibility to our own household to keep as much money as we can and put that money to work for us. So again, one of the big reasons we relocated here a few short years ago, and sounds like it's one of the biggest main questions you get. But you started to say that the person asked about taxes?
Yeah, so I mean, I have people ask all the time. So I'll share some screenshots of some questions that we got. You might not have seen these, Dare. This was an email.
Can I read?
Yes.
Originally, I was only considering Portland, shout out to Portland, but when calculating the state income tax, I was surprised to see I'll be paying more in taxes in Oregon than California. Whoa, stop the press. So Vancouver being so close and having no income tax got my attention. I've never been to Vancouver, and I don't know where that went. But
I cut it off because then it became irrelevant.
But you get the gist of it. So again, most people wouldn't think Oregon would have higher taxes than California, but it's one of the main reasons you have a lot of business of people looking to relocate just across
Portland,
over the river from Portland and from Oregon into Washington State.
Yeah. Another question, is the personal income tax living in Washington and working in Oregon higher, meaning do out-of-state employees get charged any extra taxes and fees?
Great question. And you're going to talk about taxes, how they apply? Mm-hmm. Great.
I have many questions. This is from text. So we got one from email, one from the YouTube channel, and then I found one in my text that said, I have many questions, but the first would be if we qualify for the no income state tax on our remote jobs since they're based in California. We currently live in Los Angeles. So if you're wondering, well, what are Oregon taxes? Because let's talk about income taxes specifically. I think it's pretty well known that Oregon has no sales tax.
Yep. So if you're buying things, we share the hack all the time. If you live in Southwest Washington, Clark County, and the 5 boroughs, as I call it, Vancouver, Camas, Washougal, Richfield, and Battleground. Yep. The proximity into Portland is so close that a lot of times you may want to come over here to pick up a larger purchase. I know in our time here, we've picked up everything from electronics, TVs to furniture.
Supposedly.
Again,
reportedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So let's talk about what the Oregon state taxes are. Oh, and we keep getting into it, and it's like this big buildup. It is a big buildup because it's a little jarring when you see the numbers. I had a client come into town. She and her family are relocating from Austin. She is a traveling nurse who has done contract. She's worked in Texas, she's worked in California, and her most recent contract was in Oregon. And she brought it up to me that she noticed that her taxes that came out of her Oregon travel nursing contract were way higher than California. And she was commenting on how that's part of the reason she's specifically looking towards Vancouver and on the Washington side, even as a travel nurse, because she can do contracts here.
Yeah, I want to say shout out to all the nurses and physicians and medical professionals, all the essential workers who are going through it in this day and age. So thank you so much.
Yes, we appreciate you. Love all of you guys and your work and dedication. And okay, so we're on smartasset.com because if you can look this up on the Oregon State website, but their form has a million numbers and it's just confusing to read. So we're going to make this as simple as possible.
Let me put in a disclaimer real quick, I guess, because we have to, because we're in such a litigious society.
We're
not financial experts. This is not financial or tax advice. We're regular people who have similar concerns as a lot of you guys watching. We've done some of homework that applies to our situation and encourage you to do the same.
Thank you, dear. Covering my behind.
CYA.
Yeah. Okay, so the funny thing to me about Oregon taxes is that as a state, states have like departments of commerce and tourism bureaus, and they try to attract businesses and residents to their state. And I think on Oregon side, they can say, well, our state income tax starts at 4.7. It's like, great, if you make, and we're talking about single filers here, you're only paying 4.75% income tax on the first $3,600 that you make,
which was great when I was a kid and I had my newspaper route. I would have been good.
I mean, even that's aggressive because I don't think even in California, I don't think you would pay tax. Do you pay tax on your first dollar? That should an allowance.
I thought it was allowance under 10,000. Is it?
I forget the exact number.
Well, we'll do a sequel to this. We'll do California versus Washington.
Yeah.
But, okay, go ahead.
So then you step into the next tax category, 6.75, only until $9,000, which, I mean, that's most people. I mean, that's like essentially being in poverty if you're making $9,000. But still, I mean, 6% is high. If you're only making $10,000 in a year or $9,000 in a year, that's super high.
Yeah. And this is over and above federal income tax.
Exactly, on top of federal income tax. So then, now you're graduating from the starting rate of 4.75, by the time you make your $9,051st dollar, you're at 8.75 all the way to $125,000 a year.
And I would imagine that range, 9,000 to 125,000, is probably
the majority of people.
90% of people.
Yeah.
So you're talking about paying upwards of 9% state-only income tax.
And then if you're a single filer and you earn 125,000 or more, you get to graduate to the top tier of 9.9%. And I mean, going back to the quote, nothing is certain in life but death and taxes. We know we're going to pay taxes, but you have the ability to
mitigate,
to reduce, to keep more of your money. Because I don't think anyone on any side of the aisle thinks that the government spends our money wisely or in exactly the way that you would want.
Absolutely.
Okay. So married filing jointly, it basically doubles everything. So in your after $18,000 as a couple, you're in that 875.
Okay, that's easy to remember.
Up to 250, which is again probably going to be most families, which is super high. So if we go over here just to show you what that looks like, and you make, let's say, $60,000, and you are single in Oregon, you're going to pay $4,000 in taxes per year on top of your income, your federal income tax, on top of property tax. You won't pay sales tax if you live in Oregon, but I mean that $4,000 invested, I mean that's literally $400 a month almost that you could be putting towards your retirement accounts. And I think most people would,
or paying off debt, right? Because if you're in debt is a tax as well, just a different kind of tax. So $400 a month, you could be paying off that car loan or student loan or mortgage or credit card, you name it. You know, we all know what our bills are, but again, that's money that you can't allocate the way you want. The state is saying, okay, thank you very much. So again, not the most sexy subject, but you know, we find the subject of, you know, how to reallocate that money sexy. Yeah,
because also, I mean, when the state's taking their money, when the state is taking their money, there's no interest earned on it. So even if you overpay or you get a refund, like if you get a federal tax refund, you could be earning interest on that throughout the year, but instead in the form of appreciation on stocks or however you wanted to invest it, if you can invest it. Or, I mean, most families could just use an extra $300 to like make things a little easier around the house.
Yeah, I was listening to something today and they said that this common thing, because a lot of people are struggling, is it used to be living check to check. And they say now more so a lot of people are living check to Monday, meaning you get that money, you know, and by the time, you know, all the auto drafts and bills come out, by Monday you're on E, which we know from experience is no fun, super stressful. So again, this is probably not your typical, you know, Washington State, Pacific Northwest content.
Or real estate
content, but we just try to do things a little bit different, a little bit more useful as a resource for guys who are thinking about relocating here or living here.
And I get enough questions about it that it is relevant when you're looking to move, because, I mean, unless you're someone that finances are zero issue for, this comes into play. And actually, probably the more money you make, the more you care about what the tax rate is where you live. And the less money you make, the more you probably should care.
I'm going to say that. Stole me thunder.
Yeah, we think alike, huh?
All right, let's keep it moving.
So the other question that I would probably pose at this point is, well, if that's the case, right, that you're going to be paying significantly more, and just to show you guys exactly, so here you can see, even though California has a higher individual marginal rate, meaning their highest bracket goes to 13.3, you can see Washington is grayed out because we don't have state income tax. But Oregon is even one of the highest in the country. I see, what is that, maybe 4 or 5 states, Minnesota.
I just got a great idea.
New York, one second, dear. New Jersey and Vermont are also in that like red category. What's your idea?
We got to do a battle of the tax-free states.
Oh.
Because if people are looking for a tax-free state, which I can totally relate, you got 5 of them, right? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 5 states. Washington, Nevada, Wyoming, South Dakota, Texas, and Florida. So we should do a battle of the tax-free states. Oh, yeah, my math ain't so good, huh?
We're struggling over here. Late night. I promise you there's no like whiskey or bourbon in our...
Might as well be. That'd have been a good excuse.
Yeah, there should be,
Sunday,
though.
can we do that? I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yes, we can. I'm getting ideas as we talk to you guys.
I'm going to write that down.
This is from the Oregon Center for Public Policy. This is how the effective tax rate ends up coming out based on whether you're the top 1%, the next 4%, in the middle, or the bottom 20%. So it's very regressive on people who make the least amount of money. And it's just, I'm not personally a big fan of it. Which brings me to the question that I have. Can you close the door?
It's going to be hot here. I'm enjoying the rain, but okay.
I'll let you open all the windows when we get off. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, so the question, if we're being fair, is, well, then I would ask you this, and I have my own answer, but if this is true and you're relocating, you can move anywhere because maybe now you're working remote, or you're going to find a new job in the same industry, or you're just looking to start fresh, like someone that I spoke to today who literally lost everything recently.
In the hurricane, right?
Yeah, in the hurricane in New Orleans. Gosh, that bothers me so much. Okay. I don't want to be emotional, but it's really sad. So why would you live in Oregon, if you were deciding between Oregon and Washington? Do you want to hear my answer?
Yeah, because I struggle, yeah, honestly.
So a lot of my clients and people who I've spoken to, even like before I got licensed in real estate, the reasons that they end up leaving Oregon is because you can get more house for your money in Vancouver compared to Portland. Their perception is that the schools are better. And then the taxes, especially if they can work in Washington. So if not Hal Byrd, but just as an individual, if I was single with no kids and I didn't want a long commute, those would be the reasons that I would consider Oregon.
Okay.
Because if you're gonna work in Oregon, and we're not talking about remote, if you're gonna physically work in Oregon, you're gonna pay income tax even if you live in Washington.
Right.
So at that point, you're just adding to your commute. And if you don't care about, or if you do care about having a short commute, like if you wanted to, you could bike to work from Vancouver. You could bike from Vancouver to Portland, and there's public transit. But anyway, if you didn't want a long commute, you wanted to walk to work or something like that, or you wanted a downtown lifestyle where you can walk to work, walk to bars, all that stuff, that would be the case. Like single, no kids, and like didn't want to commute. That's the scenario that I could personally think about where I would be like, yeah, it makes more sense financially or from a tax perspective to live in Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, I think from a quality of life standpoint, Southwest Washington still gives you more, kind of like a best of both worlds. So I wouldn't mind taking the commute, but that's me. But again, teach his own. Me what?
You wouldn't mind taking the commute?
No, because if I may get going early and maybe going to a gym first or doing this, doing that, I would figure out ways to mitigate traffic. But I still would like kind of leaving. I guess there's some suburbs that seem pretty decent at first blush. We have some friends who live in the suburbs of Portland, perfectly nice neighborhoods, I guess. But I just think fundamentally I'm opposed to paying taxes if I have another alternative. That's just me.
The reason I said you commute because it literally, when we hit traffic, it literally changes his mood. Like he cannot stand traffic.
Yeah, I don't like traffic at all.
So that's saying something. Let's check on the comments. Change is nice. Yes, change in the seasons is definitely nice. That's crazy. Shaking my head. The struggle is real. I think we went off of that. I don't know what that's referring to, but the struggle is real for a lot of people. And we've been there. We're in a pretty good spot now, but we can relate. We're not independently wealthy.
I am.
You are?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that.
Oh.
So, come on, let's read the
I would have signed a prenup,
Yeah.
We're visiting Vancouver next weekend to see if it's a match for us. Thanks for the great content. Definitely helped. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Julian said that's crazy how high New Mexico state tax is. What is New Mexico? Is it this one? New Mexico, 4.9. I guess, are you saying for what you get in New Mexico? Seems like on the lower side to me.
But it's new.
Yeah. You and your dad jokes. Okay, moving on. So let's compare it to California because everyone is talking about we'll do a full video on this, like record it and get all the research and do like a
deep dive.
Yeah, not a live stream version. But, okay, so first of all, the state of California is only going to charge you 1% on your first $8,900, which if we go back to Oregon,
$3,600.
once you get to,
single.
You're already at 6% when you get to $9,000 in Oregon. I mean, so obviously it's marginal, so you're paying 4% on the first 36, but the bulk of that you're going to be paying 6% on, compared to 1% in California. Wow. Then you pay 2% on your next 10,000, basically 4% on your next 10, and I'm rounding 6%. So you're still, if you make $46,000 a year or less, you're paying less taxes, significantly less taxes in California, which is a huge reputation for being a highly taxed state. It's insane. So when do you get to 8%? So you get to 8% after 46,000 to 48,
50.
And 58. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're at 9%, which you were already at 9% at $9,000 in Oregon. No, you're at almost 9%. Oh yeah, after 9,000, 875 compared to 9.3.
And are those the changes? Because I thought I also heard that Oregon is considering raising taxes, or is that just for Multnomah County?
That tax you're talking about it's a preschool for all tax.
Okay.
And it's only in Multnomah County.
Okay, so Multnomah County, if you guys don't know, encompasses Portland. That's the major city.
Hold on. Multnomah County. Here, pull it up on the map. You're gonna see all my flags. I'll just verbally tell you guys. It goes up to Sauvie Island, includes all of the city of Portland, Gresham, Troutdale, Fairview area. I don't know if that's actually considered a city. Clackamas.
Happy Valley?
No, that's not in it.
Okay.
Orient.
So Gresham,
Troutdale,
Portland,
and then up to Sauvie Island, which I think this is still.
You say Sauvie or Swati?
Sauvie.
Oh.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay. So.
Okay.
Large county. So again, that's another tax. Is that correct? On top of state?
Yeah. So with the Multnomah preschool for all tax, you can basically add, I think it's like 2% on top of the Oregon state taxes.
Well, I mean, so considering that a lot of people are considering between.
If you make over 120,000.
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
So it gets pretty intense.
Yeah.
And you can see it always goes up, right? So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about. And then kind of talking about, do you guys have any questions in terms of when it kicks in, or what's your particular, thank you, dear, what your particular situation might be? We talked about why we would pay Oregon taxes if we wanted to, like why you might want to.
Oh wait, so just give some more scenarios. So again, even if you live in Washington but you work in Oregon, you pay Oregon state income tax.
State tax, yeah.
What if you live in Oregon but work in Washington?
You still pay tax.
Okay.
There's not double because there's no Washington state tax.
Okay. Right,
but because you're an Oregon resident, even though you're doing work, they want their money still.
But what if now a lot of people are working remotely? So is there a way that you can determine where you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
like virtual.
Okay, so like one of our friends, you know who I'm talking about, lives in Sherwood. I don't want to say his name.
Oh yeah.
He
shout out to Jack. Just kidding.
He works for an Oregon-based company, and he's considering relocating to Vancouver, and he would have to be hybrid, so he would work remote in Washington some days and commute into Oregon. So he would owe tax on the days that he works in Oregon, but on the days that he works remote from home, he wouldn't owe tax.
Okay, so that would be just more of a record-keeping thing.
Yeah, or if it's like the same 2 days, like, 2/5 of your income essentially would be subject to Oregon taxes.
Gotcha.
There was something else I was going to say. Oh, so even if you work remote, which is on the rise and going to be more and more prevalent, no matter where your company is based, you're taxed based on where you do the work. So if you are working for a California company, like the comment said, and you work remote in Washington, you will not owe state income tax.
Say that one more time for the slow kids like me.
If you work remote in Washington, even if your company is based in another state, you won't owe income tax. Like, you still qualify for the no Washington income tax. So I'm not a tax professional, so you can verify that with your CPA. But
so what that tells me, if you like the idea of living in the Northwest and Washington State, and you have that flexibility at your employer, that may be something to consider, right? That may be a firm pro to find a way to call you and help you find a home in Southwest Washington.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So I think that's all we have. We just wanted to answer this question because I get it all the time, like probably, I don't know, a few times a week.
Yeah.
Like, people, or even if it's not a question about it, people telling me that part of the reason that they're considering Southwest Washington is because of income tax. So I guess what time is it? It's 9:30. I'm feeling it. Even if you don't make a ton of money, it still makes a difference to your bottom line and what you keep, especially when you see that graphic that talks about how Oregon taxes its residents that make the least amount of money. They're taxed the most. So I don't know. I'm very pro Southwest Washington, but there might be other factors that would cause you to move in Oregon. For us personally, that's something that we care a lot about. That was a pretty big factor in where we decided to live. We were not going to move anywhere after being in California. We were not moving anywhere that had a state. I don't think we considered any states that had state income tax. Like, even we briefly looked at Lake Tahoe, but most of the Lake Tahoe that people know is in California, and we specifically looked at towns on the Nevada side because the Nevada side of Lake Tahoe doesn't have state income tax. We looked at South Dakota. We looked all over Washington State because we just knew that if we can save money, that's beneficial to
retirement, to preps, to lifestyle,
our legacy, our investments, what we leave behind.
Yeah.
It makes a substantial difference when you compound it over time, and just helps you live, kind of going back to our mission of freedom, fulfillment, and happiness. That having less tax for us is more freedom, more ability to fulfill what we want to do with our lives, which ultimately leads to, for us, happiness. So that's kind of it. We're gonna kick back now.
Yeah, and if you guys, watching this, have any other ideas or questions, things that might be good subject for content, let us know. We're always trying to think of, again, start with us. We try to think of the things that were helpful when we were looking, and then we go from there. But we get some really good questions from you all. We appreciate the feedback. And again, if you have some ideas for the future, let us know.
And I guess I didn't say this in the beginning, but if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, make sure to shoot me a text. You can reach me. Which way is it? Right there? No, there. I think.
Oh. There's a delay, so.
Well, here, you're over here. And you can see your live.
There you go. Right there.
Right there.
What are you doing?
I can't do it.
You're backwards. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this live a little bit later than necessary, but we try to commit to our promises and kind of go live with something every week.
And maybe we caught some different viewers because it's nighttime. It's not in the middle of the workday.
Yeah, let us know if you like the time.
Yeah, or let us know in Pacific time, because the world revolves around Pacific time, what live stream time works best for you, because we're still testing out consistent live streaming every Tuesday. Obviously not at a consistent time. We've been doing 11 a.m. Now this is, what time do we start? Like 9 p.m.? I think that's probably a little too late. Maybe 6 p.m.? I don't know.
What time is Hawaii? 2 hours.
The world doesn't revolve around Hawaii. I don't know.
I know. I'm just thinking maybe some people want to move to Hawaii who catch this. So.
Let's see. What time is it in Hawaii?
I think it's 2 hours. I would be behind. Let's see how good I am.
behind. 6:38 in Hawaii.
3 hours behind.
I think it varies. I think they have a different daylight savings time.
Okay. And if you don't mind, just a spoiler alert, some upcoming content that we have coming up on the channel is Southwest Washington from a strategic relocation perspective, which is something that was seriously important to us.
We should do a giveaway of the book.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Okay, we're going to do that.
Strategic, if you don't know what that is, look up strategic relocation. We also have
Hal's Pals.
Hal's Pals, an interview with one of your all-star, rock star mortgage people.
Yeah, I work with the best people in the mortgage business.
And then we also have How to See, play on words, Hal, H-A-L, How to See Vancouver. Actually a map, how would you call it?
Like a tour.
Like a tour that you put together for people who are coming to visit, which you have a lot of people coming to visit every week for the first time.
I just started doing this.
To kind of see Vancouver, the 5 boroughs of Vancouver, and out to the gorge.
Yeah, so let me give a little background on that too.
Okay.
A lot of times people come to visit and they don't really know where to go. So I created a Google Maps tour of where to drive through Vancouver, so you get a good idea of some of the different neighborhoods and areas, and so you don't really miss anything, because you don't want to come back and then 2 weeks after you come back I publish a video and it's like, oh, I should have saw that when I was out there. So yeah, it's a Google Maps link that I can text you. So if you're gonna visit and you want to drive around and explore by car, just text me and I will send you this Google Maps link so that you can take the How to See Vancouver tour yourself. Everything's Hal, right? Happy Halloween.
Oh boy.
Night Hal.
Oh my god. How many more of these am I gonna have to do?
How many more of these are you gonna have to do?
So just look out for some things. Again, we're trying to keep them coming. So hopefully you're enjoying this content. We love giving it, and we love the feedback and the love and the trolls. Gotta take the good with the bad. So
yeah, it's mostly good.
Yeah,
it's almost all good. All right, guys, we will catch you next week at a different time than this. We probably will not wait until 9 p.m. And we have some more videos coming out this week. Trying to keep it coming. Anything else? I don't think so. Call me if you want to buy a house.
See you guys.